Hey everyone. Last week I've been working on my website. You can find it at www.codeapps.dev. Now, this might not have been the brightest thing I've ever done, but I've been using it to test the new app directory in NextJS 13.3. And when you do so, NextJS quickly warns you that the app directory is still in beta. It's unstable, it's liable to change. And let's say that's not an exaggeration. Generally speaking, I usually host everything I do on AWS because I like how fast they innovate, and they tend to be cheaper than other options for projects that don't have that much traffic if you configure it correctly. Now, AWS has set up an excellent integration with Next.js using their Amplify service. Honestly, it's painless to set up. They guide you through the process. You plug it into a GitHub repository, and Amplify updates the environment whenever you push code to the main branch. I was impressed with how seamless it was. And you can set up different environments. For example, I set up a pre-production environment to test changes before pushing them into production. And it was a good thing I did. I had recurring bugs when I was navigating, particularly when returning back from a page. I'd hoped that the new Next.js 13.3 release would solve the problem. Boy, was I wrong. The 13.3 release introduced a whole new slew of bugs. From the outside, it feels like many of these bugs were linked to jest workers. At least that's what the crashers were saying, both in my local environment and in the Amplify logs. When I went to GitHub to see if there were any fixes or workarounds, I found that I was not the only one to be confronted with the problem. One user even said that the 13.3 was the buggiest release he had seen in a while. Now, because I was also fixing bugs, my own bugs, on the website linked to how it combines French and English content, I couldn't wait for the bugs in Next.js to be fixed. And so I decided to try hosting the website on Vercel, which finances Next.js. Not because Vercel provided a better experience, but because it felt like deploying on Vercel might have been better tested. And the experience on Vercel was very much comparable to that on AWS. Deploying is just as seamless, and the website didn't have as many bugs. Now, this move wasn't because Vercel was better or cheaper. It was because Next.js 13.3 introduced instabilities that broke both my local environment and Amplify on AWS. So I have two pieces of advice for you today. First, don't use the app directory in production or for anything that requires a high level of stability. It's okay for hobby sites, but not ready to be used professionally. Second, even for hobby sites, if you don't want to use the Vercel hosting, don't use the app directory just yet. I'm having a lot of fun in Next.js 13 using React as a backend solution with server components. However, it requires a bit of a mindset shift. For example, there aren't any hooks on the server. And above all, it's not ready for prime time, at least not quite yet. But when it is, and that moment is coming soon, I'll be elated, because using the component mindset on the server with data flowing down the tree from the layout to pages to components and finally to the client, I find that changes quite a few things from what I've been used to up until now. So watch this space, and I'll see you, well, on my website or in the next video.